Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to nerd fight!
Step into the ring, it's time to brawl. Nerd fights, baby, we're geeking for all. Marvel, DC, Trek, and more. Pop culture battles, settle the score. Nerd fights, let's get loud. Nerd fights, yeah, for the geeky crowd. Nerd fights, hey, it's time to throw down. Bring your fandom, it's the hottest showdown. Who's got the takes? Who's got the heat? Mr. Know-It-All and Salty can't be beat.
That means only one thing. It's time to fight.
Beat drops out with the final shot.
Nerd Fights.
Let's fight!
Hey, welcome to Nerd Fights. I am Mr. Know-It-All, your wonderfully experienced and knowledgeable host. And of course, the man right over here, he's the captain of this starship. That is Salty Trekker. Sir, how are you?
Good. Herbie's.
You got your bud? I
Yeah.
love it. Oh, it's awesome.
So,
Very cool.
so we got a couple of things to talk about.
Oh my God, so many things. We have to talk about Star Trek, of course. And then we have to talk about a little ditty known as the Fantastic Four,
Yes.
which came out. And obviously, I love the hat, by the way. Very cool.
It's my Ben Grimm hat.
Yeah, totally. No, rock on, man. That's awesome. I love it. But yeah, we're so the way the show works, everybody, those of you joining us and playing at home, we talk about stuff. Once in a while, we disagree about some things, and when we do, some pretty fun arguments ensue, and that may or may not happen. I make no promises. But either way, we're definitely looking forward to having this conversation. Hey, what's going on, Phoenix Gundam? Good to see you, brother. Say, woo, Herbie. Yeah, man.
Oh, I understand you hated the movie, right?
Me? No, I loved it. I absolutely love the movie. Oh my God! Hold on. Wow, is that the crazy popcorn bucket? Yes, it is, Stan. He has
It's
that.
actually here's the crazy thing. Okay, look, this is a popcorn bucket
No,
down
I
here.
know. Look at
Right?
show this.
So this
hang on. Go ahead, show this thing off.
Okay, so yeah, popcorn bucket is down here, and then his chest opens up. If I can do that real quick, that's where you put the candy, and then the entire head is a cup with a straw for your drink.
Bro, that's amazing. Oh my God! Hey, by the way, yeah, Galactus. So Galactus head is $80. I've actually paid for one, and it will be coming. And will be coming very soon. And then, and when they get
I
the
was
box,
really mad because my theater, a bunch of people came in before the first showing and bought them all.
yeah, I got a lot of people did that too here. Luckily, they got a second case, and they're supposed to be getting another one this week. And so they said they'll let me know. I paid for mine, and they said when it comes in, I said when I come in, can I get like two if I wanted to? And they said whatever's here when you come here, you can. We're just only reason they're telling me is because I paid for it in advance.
Right.
And so that's the reason why I'm being called in. But otherwise, yeah, the Herbie. What did you? It was like $70 right here at my theater.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a little cheaper at ours. The price varied from theater to theater. But,
Right on.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, because they're given as a promotional item. They have to buy them, but they can upcharge them whatever they want. Yeah, if Regal wants to make a Mrs. Know-It-All,
well, those items are actually that's Regal's bread and butter on these.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
Because the $80, that's all that money, or not Regal, but AMC. Do you go to Regal theaters or do you go to?
No,
AMC?
I go to an AMC. I go to an AMC.
Yeah. So AMC makes all the money off of that.
Right
What they don't make money on is ticket sales. And so,
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I don't think any theater makes money off ticket sales.
not in the first couple of weeks, not in a tentpole film. The usually like a movie like this, if they get to keep 5% of the ticket receipts.
And I think after so many weeks, so if the thing has legs long enough,
usually
then they can start to make something.
Usually, a tentpole movie like this, usually like the first 2 weeks are in the 90s as far as percentage, as for what the studio gets. And then after 2 weeks, it drops down to like 80 and then 70, et cetera.
Mr. Fumel here thinks apparently I need to fight a bull. I'm down. I've got, if you notice, I came with my Reed Richards mustache and beard. Apparently that's part of the character now.
If that's a mustache, man, you need
I
help.
No, it is not a mustache.
All right, so before we get started, let me just show off my cred a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I don't want people to think I'm playing. When it comes to the Fantastic Four, I have been a fan of the Fantastic Four since most of you people out there have been born. All right?
Here it comes.
I've been collecting Fantastic Four comics since about 1973. No joke.
When he was in high school.
Yeah, so I was 5 years old when I started collecting.
When he was in college, he was.
Oh, you better stop. So I want to show off a couple of things here from my personal vault. This is Fantastic Four number 48, the very first appearance of Galactus or the Silver Surfer in
Bro,
comics.
look at that. That thing's gorgeous.
Okay.
Oh my god.
This is the follow-up to it, number
I've
four,
seen this one.
number
Oh, I love it.
49.
Oh my
Okay.
god, that's beautiful.
And then this is the
Yeah.
climax of the story, issue 50. So this is the original story of Galactus. Now, that is the first story of Galactus. It's not my favorite story of Galactus.
No, I got you. Which one's
No.
your favorite?
My favorite would start in from 1982. Would start in issue number 242.
Oh, look at him.
Terex the Untamed. Terex was the replacement for Silver Surfer as Galactus's herald.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so,
No, and you're right, Stan. This one needs a new Mylar bar. That first one, gorgeous Mylar bag. Bro.
yeah, some of these I have to rebag a lot of them, but I have. But this one, this is
Well,
what
he said, put those in some Mylights. What are you talking about? Like, get them nice and strong, bro.
So this one, I want to see this. The 242 is Terex the Untamed. 243 is what I want to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe sometime in the next years. You ready?
Okay.
It is called Everyone versus Galactus.
Oh my god, look at that thing. Hey,
It
Benny.
is- So if you notice on the cover, it's the Fantastic Four plus Doctor Strange, Thor, Captain America. Also in the fight are Wasp, Spider-Man, and Daredevil make an appearance. This is, this has got, and Iron Man is up there too fighting. So,
Okay, so by the way, hold on, I'm older than you, Salty. I was 20 in 1970s. Wow, Don, I love you. That's amazing.
and then
That's a whole
that story, that story climaxed with this one. I love this cover. Notice it's calls Galactus. This is Galactus creating his next herald out of Johnny Storm's girlfriend.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
Which
that
was a very tragic story.
Yeah, it's rough.
Tragic for Johnny. She was fine with it.
So I don't know. Are we ready? Stuff heard. Stan, what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to go straight into the? I feel like there's no warm up, no foreplay. We're just Fantastic Four in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, Fantastic Four is the topic is yours.
Okay,
so
fine. And when we get down to them, we'll talk boring Star Trek later. Whatever.
So,
all right. So Okay, I'm gonna finally ask. Here it comes. You ready? Salty, what did you think?
well, I'm glad you asked me that, Mr. Know-It-All. I will simply say this. Of all the movies that have come out in 2025, set in a pre-established universe where the heroes have been in power for 3 to 4 years, there are 4 main heroes with 1 surprise hero, and immediately after some information is leaked about the heroes, the entire world turns on them, and then there's a fight with an unstoppable villain in front of a black hole, and the gravity of the black hole is what saves the day. And there's a major kaiju in a fictionalized version of New York City just after that city was evacuated. And during the kaiju fight, a plot point comes up about the sanctity of life. Now, all the movies that have come out like that this year, this one's my favorite.
Can I tell you? I've heard so many people being like, "What's going on with everybody having black holes?" And I was like,
Actually, okay, so it's funny because Fantastic Four did some things right scientifically that they usually don't, which I liked. For example, the laser.
We're having a conversation about scientifically
Yeah.
because I'll tell you that's one of my biggest issues too with some people.
Yeah, well, like the lasers on the spaceship bending because they're warping space.
Wonderfully accurate.
Yes.
The fact that they're not 30 years older than all of us, or when they come back, like the time dilation isn't a thing.
Well,
Like, I almost feel like
time
we should
dilation
come back
was
to
a
the
thing.
established Marvel universe. We find out this is just like a weird past that we don't remember.
Right. Well, the time dilation was a thing in that that's how they slowed down the Silver Surfer because they tricked her into getting closer to the event horizon than they were. But there should have been some time dilation for them as well. Like when they got back to Earth, they've said it had been several months, and everybody was wondering if the Fantastic Four were even still alive. You know,
No, true
and
story.
by the people comparing it to Interstellar, I call BS. Just because they had a black hole and they did some time dilation gobbledygook doesn't make it Interstellar. And by the way, Interstellar did it all wrong, just to make that clear. I mean, everybody thinks how brilliant it is, but it actually makes no sense that the people on the planet and the people in orbit of the planet would have such a radical in time, because what would actually happen is there would be time dilation for anyone near that black hole, not just the people on the planet near the black hole. That
Yeah,
made no sense whatsoever. So people that want to rave about Interstellar, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. My biggest issue at the moment for a lot of people, what they're talking about is I'm like, wait a minute, so let me get this right. You're okay with the stretchy man, the woman who turns invisible. You're okay with all of those things, but where you draw the line is that our sci-fi may not be accurate.
Right. But that's actually saying something, because a lot of people are picking on.
Yeah, or just a random FTL drive.
It's actually
Quick, fly up there, get to the FTL drive that we have in orbit. Just because.
They just happen to have an FTL drive ready to go. Which, by the way, sounds crazy, and this is where I wanted to go back to my street cred here. There is absolutely nothing out of character about Reed happening to have a FTL drive in orbit ready to go whenever they needed it.
Oh, I know. No, for real. Literally,
the Baxter Building did have a rocket ship in a silo in the original comics.
Totally did.
So there's nothing, because I know there's some wild stuff in there, but and what I really liked about this movie, I know that some people are like picking out which character they think stood out for them. Again, I have every issue of Fantastic Four from number 25 all the way to the end of the original run, which was just like in 2018 or something. And so so that's like well over 600 books. And one thing that they did that they did not do in the Tim story, did not do in Fant Four Stick, and they did not do in the Roger Corman movies, is they got all four characters right. And huh?
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sue. Okay. I know some people were bitching about Sue.
Why isn't she in an apron making sandwiches? I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Okay, she's a politician. What do you want me to do?
No, here's Sue used her force field to push Galactus, right? And which a lot of people would say, no way that's ever happening, right? But I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, the Galactus from this issue is probably less powerful than the Galactus we saw. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've heard a lot of people complain about and it's funny. I have to you have to understand they've power scaled Galactus so many times over.
Yeah.
And
this issue, the one that's my favorite here, where they're all fighting Galactus. Guess how they actually in the end knocked Galactus unconscious. Guess how they did it?
Wow.
Mr. Fantastic turned himself into a slingshot and shot the thing into his face. Okay.
That's awesome.
So
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And yes, Johnny is smart enough to translate an alien language.
Well, that's another thing, actually, Stan, that I really did like, is that, keep in mind, Chris Evans, Johnny, fun character. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking his performance. But that Johnny Storm, even Ben Grimm in that one said, I'm not going up there with the underwear model. He was just a pretty boy that was supposedly a hotshot pilot, right? But the thing is, Ben Grimm was the pilot. Right. Ben Grimm's always been the pilot. You don't need two pilots. Johnny was a young.
They always have the co-pilot.
No, well, that was Reed. And so, but generally it was like
science guy. I don't know. He's a captain. He says, "Make it so."
But the thing is that Johnny was a up and coming young scientist. All right, he was not a dummy.
Well, remember, everyone's joking because Reed says,
"Yeah, he's with the smartest people in the world." That just happens to be his wife, his best friend, and his brother-in-law.
Yeah. And I'm
And
like, good for you
but
guys.
the thing is that they showed, yes, Johnny is qualified to be
Very,
there.
very.
And this is the first time on screen that we've ever seen that.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
that
agree
we
with
see that Johnny is a remarkably intelligent young man. Yes, he loves chasing skirts, but he also loves chasing,
I am
the
eating on the job. Thank you, Josiah.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, he's very unprofessional.
Whatever. I left my dinner upstairs
Oh,
because I don't want to be sitting here eating out of a bowl. Like, yeah, sure, totally. Tell me the thing.
you know what you should do?
What's that?
I eat my dinner after the show.
Is that what you do? All right, fair enough.
But anyway, so yeah, like Ben Grimm was Ben Grimm. The fact that okay, so a lot of people you don't get this from Chickless, and you don't get this from the stupid dickless monster from Fan Four Stick. Ben Grimm is a softie. He is the nicest, sweetest guy you will ever meet. And yes, he grew up on a tough neighborhood called Yangtze Street, which is the first time we've seen that, which I love seeing
Yeah,
Yangtze Street.
I did too. I really did. Especially, do you know what else I realized since we're talking about that? A lot of the stuff that I thought they shot strictly as B-roll type stuff for the trailer was in it. The kids running across the street to look at the TV, looking in the window thing, like all of
No,
them.
it wasn't
They were
in it.
in it. I
And
was
I
so
think
shocked.
what was not in it though was Sue's speech about how Ben has always been a rock and Johnny is just Johnny.
True. No, they did cut that.
I'll
Well,
always
there
be
was another scene too that showed Johnny on a beach, and somebody's like, "Why'd they cut this out?" And I said, "If you look at the shot, he's
Right.
standing at the beach looking toward the water." And I realized chances are while he was mind melding with Shala, he probably was seeing her visions, her
Because
memories,
she was on the beach.
but through his perspective, and then they would have done some trickery where he would have turned into her on like a camera move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this way you could see that he's actually living through her mind, her memories. I feel like, and they probably were just like, it looked good on paper, but it didn't work in the edit, so take it out.
Anything they did that nobody's done on screen before, nobody's had the do on screen before, is to show that Ben is Jewish.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I told the minute he was walking into the temple,
The
I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna show he's Jewish."
Yeah. So that is a thing from the comic books because Jack Kirby, the creator. Oh, by the way, that's another thing I loved about this movie. This is a movie dedicated to Jack freaking Kirby, not Stan Lee. Thank you very much, Marvel.
I know. I was blown away by how good it did.
Don't get me wrong. Stan Lee was the co-creator of the Fantastic Four, just like he was with Spider-Man and all these others. But Jack Kirby is the person who designed all of these characters. Stan was a writer. He was not.
Oh yeah, and the Marvel way was always the artist would draw and do everything in terms of, and then give the pages back. Like the writer would sometimes write a rough outline, say,
Well, yeah, the writer would write a
story about the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer's led by some monstrosity thing named Galactus. Whatever, have fun. And then he comes back with the pages and goes, okay, and then he makes all this. Then he adds the words where they go.
And even the fact that at the very end of the
Stanley for real, Kirby crackles real.
I love the fact that at the end they showed the reason they called this universe 828 was because that was Jack Kirby's birthday.
I know.
That was
like, let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome. And they put his really big quote about having all the character, how every time you create a character, some part of you put some part of you into them, and so it's always your characters always live on.
And that's where that's why Ben is Jewish. You know, that's Jack Kirby's addition to the character that makes him a little more like Jack. And so Galactus, absolutely terrifying. He wasn't a stupid space cloud.
No, he was. Now I don't. Does he have a ship? Is that a part of the lore?
That is, yeah, absolutely.
I guess I've always just like either show up or going just through space.
No, he has he does use a ship to travel around the universe.
Okay,
and that's why he empowers. It's actually pretty close. Like I said, this was a pretty comic book accurate movie. He empowers a herald to soar the spaceways to find planets for him to consume, and then he takes his ship to that planet. He uses machinery on the ship convert the planet to energy so that he can absorb it. Now, the ship doesn't just drill through the planets like they showed in this movie. He has like this device that he sets up on the surface of the planet, and then the entire planet just kind of melts down and turns into energy, and he absorbs it.
Yeah.
However, the other thing though is that, remember, Galactus has needed to do this since before he had a ship, and so he can consume a planet without the ship.
For me, those are some of the most epic where he's like just got a and like he's just kind of like yeeted into. I'm like, get right on, bro. Good job.
Well, not just the
it's
giant.
Like me in front of a rack of ribs. Let's go.
No, I'm not even talking about like the giant Galactus you've seen in recent days. That's not what he used to do.
No, it's true. No, it's
true. He was always like the size that Galactus was in this movie is generally the size that Galactus was portrayed as from the 1960s at least through like the early 2000s.
Right on.
He didn't become super mega big until later. But and what he would do if he was eating a planet raw, so to speak, then he would land on the planet and literally sink into the crust of the planet all the way down to the core and then absorb it.
Galactus shows up as a giant because he chooses to be somewhat intimidating, but he can be any size he wants.
Theoretically, yes.
As whatever species he's facing.
Right. Whatever species you are, that's what he looks like. But it's still him physically. So, like like you saw, Johnny shoots fire into his eyeball and it hurts him.
Right. Hey, by the way, listen, if you guys do want to comment and be like in the normal chat itself, that's located at Nerdfights on the Nerdfights channel at Nerdfighting.
Yeah.
So go to the channel.
You have a link for the Nerdfighting channel.
It should be in the description. But but either way, that's in case you want. Otherwise, you're gonna look like you're by yourself in the chat, and I apologize. And everybody on Twitter or X, you guys are good. Just do what you do.
So the I absolutely love the fact that they did Galactus comic book accurate. The Silver Surfer. I mean, some people were bitching about the gender swap
because of it all.
Yeah, the shawl because that was from an alternate universe. And by the way, if I remember correctly, in the Earth X storyline, she sacrificed herself to become the Silver Surfer.
I respond to comments on YouTube, you big nerd.
Yeah, she was a Silver Surfer in addition to Norrinrad.
Yeah,
and so they did change the story of the Silver Surfer. I care.
I kept hearing. I've heard some criticisms online from the usual suspects, and one of the criticisms was, why does Shalabal? It was Midnight's Edge, so I can't even do his goofy accent. But at one point he's like she doesn't be Shalabal is all by herself when the Galactus creature shows up, her and her child with no father because she don't need no man. And I was like, what? What a goofy take.
How do you know? Well, and the thing is
knowing the backstory in this pertinent moment, the kid was the more important aspect of the story. Move on.
The reason that she was there with her kid was to show why she was sacrificing herself.
Right, exactly.
She wasn't sacrificing herself for her husband. She was doing it for her child. And just like, Jor-El.
And that's the other. Hold on. This is the other thing. Exactly what Stanley just said here. Nerdfight. Andre didn't like it. He also didn't like the physics. Didn't make sense. And I'm like, because the faster than light, the FTL drive, and the giant space god alien monster, and the people that all the stretchy bits and all that.
I would strongly disagree.
Physics is where you draw the line.
I would fight Andre on that because I think for a comic book movie, the physics in this were fine.
And then hold on. Andre was also concerned, and I have a response to this, that they didn't consider the moon when figuring out the teleportation. Hang on a second, Andre. Did you pause on the chalkboard, figure out what all those things were, and determine? Well, clearly they never ever wanted to make it to be the thing on the board. Whatever, bro. Okay, but let me say, of course he figured it out.
Well, even if he didn't, let's say he didn't take the moon, because they didn't build, as far as we could see, they didn't build any teleporters on the moon, right?
No.
All right. So let me just hypothetically, Andre.
Archive. Galactus was absolutely a beast, and
Yeah.
finally Cloud. Yes,
But
you're
let's say
dead right.
hypothetically, Andre, when you watch this, I know you will.
As they're scouting little teeny channels like us.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Sorry.
So hypothetically, Andre, let's suppose that a world-eating god monster is coming to devour your planet, and you need to figure out a plan. And you can teleport the planet, but you might not be able to teleport the moon, which is going to cause some tidal problems. But people will survive.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, so which is more important, to teleport the moon or for humanity to survive?
Sure, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
No, you did not, Eric. Erovic says, "Did I miss the Trek review?" No, you did not.
No, we haven't gotten to Star Trek yet. We've been
Captain decided the more important review at the moment was Fantastic Four.
Yes.
So we're discussing Fantastic Four.
So I think it's awesome. I think it's interesting that most of the usual suspects are begrudgingly giving it a positive review.
That's what salty, but it's salty. Forgive me. Stan was just saying that it's like they're conflicted because some of them are like, "You're right," begrudgingly, and I'm like, "So this is finally the thing that gave you guys the thing."
Right.
Good for you.
Now,
No, but good
I
for
will
you.
grant, and I know Mrs. Know-It-All would disagree with me, but I would grant that Fantastic Four is a better movie than Superman. And I would say this: I think Fantastic Four has a tighter story, has deeper themes, and I think the characters are developed than in Superman.
Not to get ahead of us, Erovic. I actually saw it more as Last of Us in space, but we'll talk about that later.
I actually thought it was 28 Days Later in space.
Totally. I can't wait. No, we'll get into that for sure.
They were fast zombies, remember?
By the way, that's going to be our Star Trek season 3, episode 3 discussion as well after the Fantastic Four one.
But yeah, so and like something you mentioned before we went on there is we have Marvel doing what DC was trying to do originally by having movies with deeper themes and serious stories. You know, because in Thunderbolts we were dealing with mental health. And now we're dealing with, family and the sanctity of life. And, who knows what's
dealing with, or as Vin Diesel likes to call it, family.
It's all about family.
That's right.
Vin Diesel as Reed Richards. Sue, we can't give the baby. It's all about family.
This is Crystal Light tea now. I have switched drinks.
Yeah. The only difference is the Fantastic car will be like, a 68 Camaro or something.
Whatever. They already did the car flying into space. Okay. Yes. But anyway, no. So, okay. I actually really dug the world itself. Mm-hmm. That world, what did you think of? Like, to me, I was so into that retrofuturism world.
I thought it was good. I honestly, I didn't get into it like I know a lot of people did. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fitting setting, but to me, the story and the characters are what really stood out.
It would behoove them to turn the World of Tomorrow or Tomorrowland into a Fantastic Four ride. Because they've already got that retrofuturism look going on for most of that nonsense.
Honestly, I'll bet you if Fantastic Four does well, they will add some kind of Fantastic Four exhibit to Tomorrowland.
Me too. It would fit so perfectly. Like, it really would.
Remember how they made Pirates of the Caribbean into the actual Pirates of the Caribbean? So yeah, so awesome. I could absolutely see them doing something with Tomorrowland, like hang
on. Phoenix Gundam said Fantastic Four is only better due to focusing on just one main villain, not making 10 main bad guys subplots. Okay, so here's my thought on that. I actually said Know-It-All. I said, you know what? From here on out, these movies need to be this. And by that, I don't mean in another world, whatever, a completely self-contained the way they were when we started. Mm-hmm. Iron Man was its own thing. Incredible Hulk, its own thing. Thor, own thing. And then they came together for one thing, and then they split apart again. That's where they lost. And let every character live in their own universe with their own things. Because I want more of this. And I don't necessarily mean this world, because we're talking about that. I mean, let characters live in the scope and realm of their own story.
The problem is we will not know for 2 years if this world is even going to continue to exist.
I don't think so.
Because
I don't think so.
Well, because we know. Okay, so post-credit scene, spoiler alert. Dr. Doom is talking to Franklin. Now, I think that what that's indicating is I think that instead of usurping the Beyonder's power, he usurped Franklin's power in order to create Battle World. So I think that
Now, okay, $50 million question for you.
yes,
Does Doom, and the chat, feel free to speak up about this too if you have thoughts. Does Doom already know about the multiverse? Clearly, he knows about Franklin. Does he already know about the multiverse, do you think? And is he currently working on it? Like, is this part
I
of
think
his deal?
I
Why
would.
he's even doing this?
Yeah, I would say probably yes. Because remember, Victor Von Doom is the second smartest person in the world, right behind Reed Richards.
They say, yeah.
Well,
Because Marvel's has retroactively added
I don't know. And I'm not. I don't give a
Marvel
crap
and other
about their retroactive.
characters. Black Panther's apparently supposed to be as brilliant, if not more,
No,
than Reed
no, no.
Richards.
The
Very sure.
smartest man in the world is Reed Richards,
That I know.
and the very close second is Victor Von Doom.
Where's
That's
Tony Stark living all this? Nowhere. He's just
Tony. It's not because here's the thing. Tony Stark is a great engineer, but could he? And the thing is, Tony Stark is kind of fill in the MCU. Tony Stark has kind of filled in for Reed Richards because Reed Richards would have been the one to create the device to be able to go through the quantum realm in order to get to the right time. That would have totally been a Reed Richards thing.
By the way, this is a very simple answer. How exactly do they decide who's the smartest person? Plot.
Well, the fact that I mean,
It's whoever's writing the story, what they decided in that moment. But
well,
we do have a hierarchy though. That was a stat. Remember those old Marvel books that used to have all the like stats?
oh yeah, I have them.
I
Like
loved those, bro. I used to have those years ago.
the guide to the Marvel universe. It was
Yes. Oh, I love
yeah,
them so much.
Reed Richards, like Reed Richards is the only human that Galactus considers his intellect significant.
By the way, just because Josiah doesn't think I'm ignoring him, I have been known to cut a rug.
And by cut a rug, he means take some scissors and snip into some fabric. Yeah.
For next week, I may get a clip of myself at my wedding. I do know how to get down. So we'll.
If I get down, he means lie
Would
down.
you stop it? Yeah, no, you're right. In Iron Man 3, you're absolutely right, Stan. He describes himself as more of a mechanic.
And that is his gift. He's basically he's an incredible technocrat, right? So, but Reed is an all around scientist. Like
I
Reed
agree with that. I do
can
agree with that.
figure out if it has anything to do with science. Reed can figure it out, and if he can't figure it out, he knows who can. Like, yeah, I would pay money to see that. I will super chat to see him do that.
Super chat. That's awesome.
Josiah saying the She-Hulk show was dumb because we're talking about the She-Hulk show.
The She-Hulk show was dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb, but I think it was fun. But it was dumb.
No, it was fun.
Yeah.
They disappointed me because they started out good.
But you see, I think Fantastic Four was fun, but it was not dumb. And
Okay, so real quick, one other thought we mentioned before the thing, and I want to bring this up. So Mrs. Know-It-All says to me, she said she enjoyed the Fantastic Four, not she enjoyed Superman more rather than Fantastic Four. Not that and it's better and whatever else. She liked both movies, but Superman.
she told me she said she would give Fantastic Four an 8.5. She would give Superman a 9.
Right, so my only response to that when I'm coming out fresh out of the theater was, I wanted 15 to 20 minutes more of Superman. I thought this movie was just right, or even maybe 5 to 10 minutes too long.
See, I disagree with you.
Okay.
On that point, I think that so as far as Superman is concerned, I'll agree it needed more, but I think it needed more than 15 minutes. I think Superman needed it should have been a 3-hour epic.
Wow, really?
Yes, I absolutely. With all the stuff they were packing in there, I think that they should have explored everything, fleshed out the world a little bit, because the problem with the Superman world is that unlike the Fantastic Four world, it just kind of organic and natural.
Better than reading Johnny. Sorry, I told Stan. I told her that Stan said that she just thinks Corn Sweat's cuter than Reed and Johnny.
No, okay, that's fine. But
what did you think of Mole Man, bro?
I thought. Well, that's why I put. Remember the surprise hero. I was not expecting Mole Man to be a
Paul Walter Hauser.
yeah.
Bro showed up, and he had one scene and the hell out of the scenery of it. He walks in, and in this scene, Sue is essentially trying to ask, "Hey, can you help us evacuate?" Because they're not going to be showing up by
I want
Superman.
him to
Had
ask.
an evacuation scene, yeah. And dude walks in, and he's all like, "Oh no, bro, Sue, yeah, I'm good with this and that." But I want him to ask. And Reed's like, "I'm," and I love that. What I loved was clearly there's experience that we have not been privy to in the audience,
Well,
but
that's
it's clear. Like I don't need to have seen it. Understood immediately. The tension was genuine. I understood and was like, "Oh, Reed's not happy at all that this is going on."
right.
But he understands what it has to be, and I was like, "Good for you, bro."
So, oh yeah, and that's something I left out. That both teams had a cute mascot.
They totally did,
Yeah.
bro. Herbie was amazing in this.
So,
Super utility. Like,
by the way, Herbie was entirely practical.
You're was a puppet.
Yeah, Herbie was a puppet.
That's awesome. Good
Yeah.
for them.
But and notice Herbie didn't fly.
No, he kind of. Well, no, you're right. He sort of just like floats in his little space or whatever.
Yeah, but the only time he flew was when they were in space in zero gravity.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, the thing about the Superman thing is it felt like there were chunks of the movie that were just like there were things happening, and I was like, wait, what? I don't understand.
So for me, I thought that's one thing I thought the Fantastic Four did a lot better was it established the. Mind you, they cheated in the right way, the way you're supposed to cheat, which is they didn't just have an exposition dump. They had an exposition dump that was disguised as, "Hey, here's our promotional package for the show that you guys were on," blah blah blah, and it made sense in the context, and you even got little teeny clips of their origin, if not the actual thing, which I thought was great.
But I was mixed on that part. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the montage. I thought it was really good, really well done. My favorite moment of the montage was when they replicated the cover of Fantastic Four #1.
Oh my god!
Um,
I even said to her, I grabbed her arm, was like, "Oh my god!" It was the thing, like as soon as it got up, its arm up, and you see John out in the fire. I was like, "Oh my god, you guys did it!" Like I want to freeze that frame and just be like, "You did it!"
yeah, once it comes out on streaming or whatever, I will absolutely do a freeze frame of that. But the thing is, though, is that while that was really awesome, I want to see that whole fight. I
Right?
didn't,
That's what I'm
you know,
saying. This was such a cheap cop out in terms of like, dude,
yeah,
don't do the thing. And this to me borders on what I complained about when it came to the Marvels.
yeah,
Don't show me cooler stuff that I never got to fully see.
right.
Like,
Because
I'm with you. Show me that whole fight, man.
right. Because like it's just like with Superman, where we start out where Superman just got his butt kicked by Ultraman, but we never got to see Ultraman actually kick Superman's butt.
No, the nearest thing is the Hammer of Baravia.
Yeah, but Superman had his butt handed to him.
He did.
But we only see Superman flying and landing in the snow. Same thing with this montage. So, by the way, did they actually? Because I remember they showed Reed fighting the gorilla, but did they actually show Red Ghost at all?
No, other than a
Yeah.
toy
So
representation.
what happened to John Malkovich?
I assume the storyline and the plot line. So my assumption is they probably would have gone to have to ask for something because it seems like they were asking people for things. And the one shot we saw of Malkovich looked like he was in some sort of a maximum security prison setup.
Right.
So my only thought is possibly that they ended up having to can that whole storyline because they didn't have time. Which is like,
but that's the problem is that the studios were getting squeamish about time when
you figure if you're forcing because remember not everybody's ready to see this in terms of people are pissed off, people are at Marvel still, and it's like you got see you later, Josiah, and you gotta they have to give theaters an opportunity. They're like, hey, if we want to give you the maximum opportunity to show this thing, we're gonna hit that, and there were hours. It was like an hour and 50 or something, hour 50 or
hour 55, I think.
Yeah, man, like it was short. But it's
well,
still
and that's the problem.
like
I think it was too short. I know you think it was too long. I think it was too short. I think
it felt too long.
Oh, I don't think. In fact, Fantastic Four is the first movie I've seen in a while where when the end credits were rolling, I was like, "Wow, has it been 2 hours?" It
See, and
feels
that's how I felt about Superman. I felt
yeah.
like Superman was
No,
it
you
now.
see, I didn't feel that way with Superman, but I absolutely felt I like Fantastic Four. To me, could have been another 20, 30 minutes uh, to flesh out those scenes that they were flashing back to in the beginning, because some of that I think was important. I think seeing their first battle, and I think that also because here's the problem: we never see the Fantastic Four really fight anything until Galactus and Silver Surfer.
True.
And but the Galactus and Silver Surfer are a whole nother power level than anything they faced before. So we should have seen them curb stomp a few things early in the movie so we can establish this is how powerful the Fantastic Four are. Oh, by the way, they're nothing compared to this guy, you know. And so I also like and little things that they teased that really made me mad was like when one of my favorite issues of Fantastic Four, the villain was a guy named and
Then
Reed
what?
mentioned
You disappeared there for a second. You disappeared for a second. What was his name?
the name of the villain was Diablo.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
And Reed mentioned him by name, along with the Wizard and several other villains that have shown up throughout. Why don't we get to see any of these people? I wanted to see Diablo. So here's what Diablo did. It was actually, I think it was John Byrne's first issue of Fantastic Four, if I remember correctly, when he took over. And so the name of the story, perfect for new writer, new artist, because Byrne, unlike a lot, Byrne wrote and drew the pictures.
Okay,
Um, so his first story was called Back to Basics. And the story was Diablo was conjuring up four golems to take out the Fantastic Four, right? So an earth golem, a wind, fire golem, and a water golem, right?
okay,
And so then what did he do? He had the earth golem go after Sue, and he had the fire golem go after I think Reed. Yeah, and the water golem went after Ben, and the air golem went after Johnny, right?
right.
And so that meant like the water golem was creepy. Like Ben was sitting there around in the park, and all of a sudden the water golem was literally a living blob of water.
Wow.
And so it turned into a bubble of water around Ben, so he would literally drown. And he couldn't punch it. He couldn't do anything because he was just floating in a blob of water, and he couldn't do anything about it. Fortunately for him, there was some people saw what was going on, and the Fantastic Four are beloved celebrities in both universe and in the 828 universe that we've now established in the MCU.
Well, listen, real quick, before you guys go crazy in the chat, we're talking about Dormammu versus Galactus and who's stronger, who's more powerful. There's a little thing called power scaling. I think at any given time, whoever the writer needs to be more powerful is more powerful.
Right.
So, for instance, we'll just go straight to. Hang on, why didn't I even have that up there? Forgive me. Okay, we're just going to go straight here to spoiling everything, and I'm going to let you know right now. At what Sue Storm does predominantly the pushing of him through now. In modern day, they've established Sue has far more powerful than even she realizes.
Sue is the most powerful member of the team.
Yes.
By far.
And I'm not even talking about just because she can put a little bubble of whatever in your brain and give you an aneurysm. I mean, like she's actually able to do.
She is like she's like Green Lantern on steroids.
There's an issue of a comic, and I don't know if it's Fantastic Four or it was in a big event book where she hides the Earth for a little bit.
Oh, turns the Earth invisible.
Yeah, and that's do you realize how the orders of magnitude that would require of her power? It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. But the one thing that I had an issue with really with that whole climax scene is that Galactus doesn't make any real genuine effort to fight back. Now, I'm also willing to concede he's probably never had anyone actually push back.
Right. I think he was surprised. I think that's the only reason that the Fantastic Four got
caught him off guard. I don't believe that's ever going to be able to happen again.
Right. Yeah, because if he comes back and she does that, he's going to like wave his and disable the force fields or something.
Right.
So yeah, there's no way that works the second time. But yeah, Sue is ridiculously powerful. And so I had
That's right, Phoenix. She has the power of John Cena. She doesn't see them. That's awesome. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. No, I'm kidding.
Now the funny thing is that when Fantastic Four first came out, her only power was to turn invisible.
That's right. No.
They added the force fields later,
and later on they also added where she could turn someone else and like she was able to extend it to someone else.
right?
Oh, yeah,
and that's
you're right.
really,
At the very beginning, it was literally just turning. It was literally she was the Invisible Woman, legit.
although my favorite version of her is a parody comic. There's a parody comic out there called Megaton Man.
Megaton Man.
Yeah, and Megaton Man had his version of the Fantastic Four, and the female member of their team was called See Through Girl.
That's awesome.
And See Through Girl had the power to make her clothes invisible.
As one does.
Yes, and so basically she would just be a distraction.
Nice. I love that so much.
But yeah, I thought, and by the way, notice like it wasn't played. Nothing was played for cheaps. Like in the Tim Story Fantastic Four, in both Tim Story movies, Jessica Alba ends up naked in front of a crowd just so.
Remember.
Yeah, just for a while, and and by the way, Jessica Alba was a terrible pick for being Sue.
Oh, she was the worst. She was the worst. Yeah,
Vanessa Kirby, absolutely, I felt the vibe. Even though I don't think Vanessa Kirby is like the hottest chick ever or anything, but she absolutely felt like Sue.
So my first back in the day, because I was not like you. I did not like the Fantastic Four the way you did. I actually didn't get into them until the Heroes Reborn event, and it was with Jim Lee as the artist because Jim Lee was one of my favorite comic artists. And I'm not saying, and they reimagined like the Mole Man story and some other stories. It was essentially a what if the Fantastic Four were created like today,
Right.
and so. I loved this piece of artwork, and this is the cover of the first issue that got me. I was like, what? And because this was shortly, Marvel had like basically given all of their main characters to the top creators in the world at the moment. They were like, please do something for us because we're dying on the vine. And so they had to make something happen. But
I like the it's funny because the powers, all their various powers, I think were done pretty well, except for Mr. Fantastic. They totally nerfed him.
So do you see this version that I hear in the picture?
Yeah, we're stretching out wide.
They never do anything like that in this, and I'm half like he always does that, whether it's just to be intimidating or whatever else. The other thing was like when there's a scene again, spoilers, but it's up there where Galactus stretches him and he's like a Stretch Armstrong, right. And he's like this wide far apart. I'm sorry, he can stretch around Galactus like a belt.
Well,
he may not be able to go much further than that. Right.
Yeah, and so yeah, Reed. Absolutely, his stretching powers have been completely nerfed. Now, I actually think it was a smart thing to do because it made Reed more, let's just say, less goofy on screen. Because if you look at Yoan's Reed, whenever he would do something that was
Yoan Griffin from the '90s movies,
yeah. Whenever, and I'm not just talking about the fact that CG wasn't as good in the '90s, but if you look at when he would stretch like under a door and up and do stuff like that, it's goofy, right? And there's no way to not make that look goofy.
No, but I thought that, but at least that stuff I enjoy. Well, okay. Another criticism I heard someone online have is the baby looks Franklin looks CGI, and I disagree. I don't think Franklin looks CGI. I think what happens is we're not used to ever seeing a baby that young make those kind of movements and that purposeful type of stuff, right. And it thus entered
it was an Valley thing where I think
100%. It gave it, but I feel like the same exact moments drawn in a comic we would never question. We'd be like, oh look, right. But I feel like in real life you go, yeah, babies don't move like that. You can't train a newborn to do that kind of thing, even though the baby literally goes from newborn to 9 months, like super fast.
Well, 9 months. My wife would say, how did she give birth to a 3-month-old baby? Yeah. But the first
great point. Go ahead. One Piece, the Netflix show does stretching, and he does it really. And I agree. It's an anime inspired live action version of an anime on Netflix. It's called One Piece, and the main character does this thing, and his arm like literally goes and like stretches, and it just looks much more natural, even though it's goofy as hell. I don't know why. I feel like if DC does Plastic Man, I have a feeling they're gonna do Reed better.
Well, but Plastic Man's powers are a little different than.
Plastic Man's a beast. Plastic Man is his powers are like nigh godlike.
Right.
He's the only guy Batman's scared of.
Yeah. Reed is. I mean, because Reed's biggest weapon is his brain.
Absolutely. The stretching thing was really
right. And by the way, so let's talk for a second about one thing we said we were going to talk about 2 weeks ago.
What was that?
Well, Corn Sweat.
Oh, which is the
This is the Pascal team. So if we're analyzing these guys' powers, trying to be staying in universe, right, and not just this movie was better or whatever. And keep in mind, Superman is not. It's just Superman. It's not the Justice Gang.
No, I got you. Okay. So can I give you? You want to give me your take, and I'll give you mine, or what?
Sure. So I think the Fantastic Four definitely have a shot. Now it's a limited shot, but I do think they have a shot. And here's the thing: based on what we saw in this movie, they've established that Sue's power level is at a mega level already.
Sure,
right?
sure, yeah.
I mean, if she could push back Galactus, I'm pretty sure she could hold Superman.
At least as long as he can remember, Galactus was more
as
shocked.
long as she can keep her concentration. I think.
I don't know that they mentioned a specific year. I think it's honestly, I think it's the equivalent of today, modern day. They're just in a future more.
No, yeah, they don't say what year it is, but my guess is it takes place in 1966.
Well, remember at one point everybody said that we saw no president or leader. At one point, you hear someone awfully official sounding on the news or on television, and I think that's supposed to be Nixon or a Nixon-like character, someone who's like, well, if all of the Fantastic Four would be able to blah blah blah. Wasn't a news guy, so I'm thinking that was like supposed to be there. So you're right; it could very well be that in that era.
Yeah, I think. Well, I have 2 reasons for thinking it's 1966. Fantastic Four started out in late 1961, early 1962.
Fair.
4 years later would have been 1966.
Right.
Just a second. This was published in 1960.
All right, you're just gonna keep on showing off. I get it.
No, I'm just saying, Galactus's first appearance in comics was in 1966.
Fair enough.
So that would all add up if they're trying to be something consistent with that.
Sure.
Now, but keep in mind, just because it's 1966 in the 818 universe or 828 universe doesn't mean it's not 2025 in the 616.
Right.
So because they're different universes.
By the way, real quick, call back to I think it was Phoenix Gundam. Somebody who was like, "Man, it's like $80 for these are like for these like popcorn whatevers."
Yeah.
Galactus, who said it may as well be like a hot toy or something. The Galactus sideshow collectible is nearly $900. So I mean, it's pretty reasonable if you ask me to ask $80 for a giant. Like when it comes in, I'll hold it in front of you. And Herbie's amazing and literally holds all 3. He holds your candy, your popcorn, and your drink. Well, and if you push the button on the face, he projects a Fantastic Four thing on the wall.
Right. Oh, that's how you get the popcorn. Okay.
You're hilarious. Oh my god. Yeah.
That's where the popcorn goes.
And that's how you never ever get it clean again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will never put anything in this thing. By the way, the hands actually open and close.
Oh my god, that is so cool.
And the arms will bend. So yeah.
It's the best.
I do like this thing. I was really upset about not being able to get the Galactus.
If you don't find a way to animate that and use that as your new little sidekick on Salty Plus, you don't have a hair on your face. Because find a way, just like literally just animate him and just take a picture. You're good. Because that's the big.
You see, what I would want to do though is make like a jacked up version of it and give him a different name, like.
So then you You want robots in space? What are you talking about?
He'll be Furby or something like that.
I love that so much.
But yeah, so
Yes, it does the projector out of the one eye. It does a 4 on it. It's great. It's amazing.
but I don't know how to turn that on though. That's
The button. So there's little black buttons. You push one of the ones underneath the eye. A kid took the time to show me last night. He was like, "Yeah, look at it, and look what it does."
So
You
where's
push one of, hold it up to me. Let me see the camera. Okay. The black wheel, go down. There's the big button, and then over two. One more, right there. Oh, then maybe it's the next one. Go the one before that.
Okay, yeah.
There it is.
Um,
Okay, we're gonna get demonetized for just the music
you
playing.
see it on the chair?
Yes. Oh, that's so dope. My internet like so hard. Looks amazing. I don't care what anybody says. That thing looks so good. It's the Herbie toy, the Herbie robot. Oh my god. Oh, I'm getting one. Trust me. The Herbie robot and Galactus head both will be mine.
Yeah, I didn't know it projected a 4. I think that's really cool.
It looks so dope. I can't wait. Dude,
Problem is, the room is so well lit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this kind of nonsense. Okay, the Superman news box, Galactus head, Herbie. Those are that kind of fun accessorizing stuff I want. So that is what I like.
If they take it to this level, if they,
Did you see the giant Jurassic Park footprint?
yes, but
literally, I guess the popcorn just goes in it. And
Yeah.
But
the Galactus head is actually an official Guinness World Record holder.
I know it's the biggest popcorn bucket
Yeah.
ever. It's crazy.
Um,
Oh my god, they had a Batman one? Where did
huh?
Oh, from the Batman? Really? See, I didn't get into the popcorn bucket craze then. I thought that was silly.
Most of them are just a popcorn bucket, and I
Yeah.
have a few of them. Like I actually over
I
there,
have a cup from Batman. And
I actually have the metal popcorn bucket over there for the Force Awakens.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You should put a liner in it. Use it as a garbage bag because that's pretty much what it's good for.
it's just a portable toilet. That's what.
Nice.
You see, the thing with Force Awakens isn't that bad.
Hey, headstone for Beetlejuice. God, how did I miss all these things?
You didn't see the Beetlejuice one? Yeah, I like that
No,
one.
I didn't.
Most of the time, my wife won't let me get that stuff because it's so expensive. However, I
You're
told
like,
her,
look, man.
I said, "Look, it's Fantastic Four. I'm getting it."
Like, if there's a fandom other than Star Trek, it's Fantastic Four.
Yes,
I
was a fan of Fantastic Four. Like, just that much less time.
I feel you.
In fact, I remember the first issue of Fantastic Four that I ever read, and I was like, "Oh, these guys are cool."
Very cool. All right, I think we've pontificated over this a bit.
So what's your score then?
I am honestly, I gave this a very, very strong 8.5 out of 10. It's not a full on 9 and not a full on 10. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Mainly because for me, I felt like there's some weak points in the story, but overall, I liked overall what they were doing. I thought it represented itself, and it was really good as a standalone, man. What are you looking for?
I'm trying to look up how do you spell eliminator? Eliminate.
Eliminate?
Yeah.
Eliminate. Eliminate. So I assume eliminator would be add an R.
All right, let's see if I can find that.
What did I give Superman? Stanley asked what I gave. I originally gave it a 9, mainly because there are flaws I see. I'm not blind to them. And then upon rewatch, I gave it an 8.5 because I caught some more things. So it also is the same score. It's an 8.5 for me, is what I ended on.
Because you're a horrible, horrible person.
Because I am a horrible person. I still think this walks the dog on Man of Steel. If you want my hot take, but
so yeah, okay. So Man of Steel. I'm still going to defend Man of Steel to a certain.
Man of Steel. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Somebody said it really best online. I read today. In Man of Steel, Clark understands he is a god among people and choosing to do good and wants to help, but he knows he is a god among humans.
Right.
Warren Sweat is a human raised by humans who learns later he's an alien and is like, well, I'm still gonna I mean, I'm still going to be a guy. I'm still going to. What does it matter? I now have powers. I can help people more. Like he's just a dude who's doing right. It's different. I don't know. It's different. It's very different in my head. He has not. That's why I was really happy they didn't give in to giving him the god complex at that one part with the flag. Like
Yeah.
magically find a way to show up. He actually sent his pals, and that felt like Superman. Felt like there was other heroes in a very lived-in world, and I'm like, right on.
And of course, the best line of that movie is, "Oh, kid, you got an upgrade."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was awesome when dude shows up. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I tell you, I absolutely, but here's the thing. So, yeah, Guy Gardner absolutely stole the show in Superman. I think every time Guy Gardner was on screen, it was absolute gold.
Was
Yeah,
yes, it was.
Fantastic Four, nobody stole the show,
Okay,
and I think that's a good thing.
right on.
You see what I'm saying? Because everybody was great.
Sure.
There was no weak link in the casting. There were the characters were right on. I have almost no complaints as far as the translating what I loved about the Fantastic Four in the comics to the big screen. Now, I will fully admit my bias as far as that's concerned, but I don't care. It's
Okay.
because it's my bias. I enjoyed that movie more than any movie I've seen in theaters in a very long time.
No, it's great.
So and now I do want to preface my score by saying this: is this the next Avengers Endgame? No.
No,
This,
that's one thing Critical Drinker did say that I appreciated. He said that he goes, this particular movie is not. He goes, if 10 years ago this would have been a mediocre movie, but now
I
because
disagree
we've
with
gotten such nonsense,
Yeah.
it's an excellent. By the way, I don't agree with him either, but I do like. I get the sentiment, which is that in a world where we have the end games and everything else, this stands very much. I believe this stands in a nice place, very happily in that.
But my point is, this is not supposed to be another Endgame. This is supposed to be another Iron Man.
Agreed, and I thought it did that.
Yes,
I thought it did that very well.
even though Thunderbolts, I think, was really the first.
Mrs. Know-It-All agrees, by the way.
Huh?
Mrs. Know-It-All agrees.
Yeah. Even though Thunderbolts was really kind of the first movie in this next wave of Marvel, I think. But this movie is really the Iron Man moment. This is where they're showing you the heart and soul of where Marvel's going to be. At least I'm hoping that's what we're seeing.
You know what? Think
yeah.
about that. Think about that. You might be right. And by that I mean they're about to introduce a lot of other teams and stuff and having
We're going to get the X-Men soon. We're going to get the
right. And then not even just X-Men. If they're smart, they'll break that up because there's a lot of characters. So there's no reason we can't get an X-Men, X Factor down the road,
Right.
a New Mutants, and you start utilizing the characters within the realm of who they are as a group. Get us used to ensembles like this where everybody's doing amazing. How can you lose? How can you miss?
Yeah. And I think that, so all that being said, I would honestly give this a 9.4.
Okay.
And I'm only saying 9.4 because Fantastic Four.
Because you want to be a Pratt. I get it.
Yeah. I would say 9.5, but, Dave Collins saying this is the best. Here's the problem. A lot of these critics are best Fantastic Four movie. That's like saying, hey, you know what? Here's 3 pieces of dog crap, and this movie's better than that. That's what it's like. I'm sorry. That's like saying Deadpool Wolverine is the best X-Men movie. Well, yeah, it's because all the X-Men movies suck.
Oh, not all of them.
Well, no, the first Deadpool was fun.
No, nice. I have not heard that.
No, it's a Blade movie. It is back on.
It is?
Yes. They're in pre-production right now. They actually did announce it. Blade is back on.
Oh, is that from SDCC, whatever? Is that from San Diego Comic-Con?
No, they announced it before it. And so they're not doing a studio whatever hall exhibit thing at Comic-Con. But they did announce movies. So and they got a new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, look at that. Mahershala Ali's Blade movie is back in development. There it is.
So like next year we're getting another Spider-Man movie, and so
Right on.
and then, but I think that's it as far as movies.
Same.
Which is, you know, that's fine. I mean, 2 movies in a year is fine, but I would rather see 3 because I like, you know, my Marvel movies a lot. And especially if they continue at this, you know, Spider-Man since the MCU Spider-Man has not made a bad movie so far, and so I'm confident it's going to be good. And then the next mainline MCU movie is going to be Doomsday, and the Russo brothers are doing it. So I don't see how that one's going to go bad. Because the Russo brothers did Infinity War, Endgame, and Civil War. So yeah, and
See how Alex Ross did this. So, by the way, sidebar: we're talking about comic stuff.
yeah.
I happen to someone. Alex Ross is coming out with it's a Kingdom Come style, the Legend of Kingdom Come, how it's the artwork and story about how Kingdom Come came to be. And there's this amazing video. It's a turnaround of Superman that looks like his artwork. I have a feeling they might have used AI to animate this. And I'm hoping he did because I think his artwork, especially if he's the artist who's animating it, really lends itself to that and would be amazing for telling the story of how this came to be.
Oh, I would completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Fan.
What was that?
Not a fan of that style.
Really, Alex Ross painted.
I like
Realism?
I like old school comic styles. Like John Byrne from the '80s, in my opinion, is absolute peak comic book art.
I agree.
So
By the way, I do agree with that.
um,
Real quick, Phoenix, the Roosters haven't let us down yet. You're right; they haven't. I don't
yeah,
think we. Mind
yeah.
you, don't. So correction, they haven't let a Marvel movie down yet. Don't look. Stuff's wild and out there and clearly out of control. But no, Marvel movies they've been doing really well.
Yeah, and honestly, they directed that post credit scene, by the way.
That makes sense.
Yeah, um, where Doom is talking
I
to.
wonder if that was really Robert Downey Jr. or if just a guy in a green.
Probably just an act. If it was really Robert Downey Jr., we would have seen his face. I guarantee you. The camera would have panned around, and we would have seen his face.
Somebody did an AI version of that. And took
Mm.
a screen. Someone took a picture of that moment,
Yeah,
and they used CGI to make a fake AI.
and make him turn around.
Yeah, there's an extra edition where the moment he's looking at the kid and it cuts closer, and then the camera turns, and you see like the corner of his face, and I'm like, stop it.
So yeah, and I've heard people speculate: is this because we know that Robert Downey Jr. is a Doctor Doom, but not necessarily the Doctor Doom.
Correct.
So, question that and I think it's an interesting question: will they scar up his face?
That'll be interesting. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we're gonna get a handsome Doom in this one.
Yeah, because if Doom is if it's that Doom has co-opted Tony Stark's body, which has happened in the comics, then it would make sense that it's just Tony Stark.
I don't think we're getting that. I think he's just. I'm telling you. I think he's just Doom.
I think it makes sense.
None of the stuff I thought was gonna happen happened. Like none of it, and I'm okay with that. I like what happened. Like because we were trained to think that they were going to add or they were going to connect this to the greater MCU, and thank freaking God they did not.
Well,
So
the one thing they did
because I imagined that there was going to be an incursion and the Earth Galactus was going to destroy the planet or something was going to happen and Reed and them were going to have to escape and going to end up being on. That's what I envisioned. Was they were going to almost like how in the Marvels they opened the multiverse and Chicky got sent to the X-Men universe or whatever, X-Men 98 universe, and it's like I don't know, man. I feel like I'm happy they went this route.
Right, but the question is, so here's what I'm thinking right now, as far as based on the post credit scene, is so Doom from Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. That Doom is the 828 Doom. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Because we've already shown the 828 Doom interacting with Franklin.
Right.
So I think that is the Doom that causes the massive incursions and creates Battle World. But the 616 Doom is the one we have not yet seen. The 818 Doom happens to have
I
what
don't
for,
know that we're gonna get a 616 after everything is reset. Whatever the
I think
new
we will.
soft reboot universe is, that's when we'll get him.
They can't. Well, the thing is, they cannot have a Fantastic Four without a Doom.
No, of course not. Well,
And
and
if they,
again,
and
how
if they
you
only, but if they only have Robert Downey Jr. for 2 movies, they're going to need another Doom.
well, and again, the other thing is we haven't had the Fantastic Four. Here's because I firmly believe this is me predicting more stuff that probably won't happen. I firmly believe that because if Franklin is who they say he is, then they're setting him up to be almost as powerful as he is in the comics. And in the
Right.
comic books, at the end of Secret Wars, Reed gets the ship together with Franklin, and they go back out to the multiverse. And Franklin, using his powers, has to recreate the multiverse. So
Right.
they're going world by world by world. Reed remembers the worlds, Franklin recreates them, and poof, they create them.
And
It's
hey,
Tiger! Wow, what's up, man? Guten Tag.
my favorite tiger that's not on a cereal box.
Right on, man.
So,
Hey,
no,
George.
he's good
Right on.
enough. So yeah, I
I
think.
know, Stan. We had that post-credit scene with them. So what does that mean?
Well, what it means is that the Doom from Doomsday is the Doom from the 828. Either that or the Doom that is the cause of all this has traveled to the 828 for some unknown reason. You would think that there's a Franklin Richards in most universes.
So what I tend to want to lean on is if you remember in Civil War,
Mhm.
we had gotten us end credit scene where we saw Winter Soldier had his arm cut in a pin thing, and then from Ant-Man or something, like where Falcon and him approach him, and he's like, "What did I do? Did I hurt anybody? Whatever." And that scene ended up being part of Civil War.
Right, it was in the
I have,
middle of the movie.
right. I have a feeling the same thing's going to hold true with this them Fantastic Four coming from space and end up getting that same kind of moment in the middle of.
Oh yeah, I think that that's going to happen. Like somehow Doom is going to start the incursions. Like Doom somehow gets Franklin's powers or whatever he does to become super uber Q like powerful,
Right.
and he starts like
God
ripping.
King Doom.
Yeah, so he starts ripping apart other universes to mold a universe in his image. The Fantastic Four could then use their ship to get to the 616 universe to rally support to fight him, which could be what we saw at Thunderbolts. So that's them escaping Doom in order to try and stop him so they could get their son back, basically.
They are. Hold on, Robert. They are going to make a movie about that. It's not a movie. It's going to be a series called Marvel Zombies. I'm not
Is
sure.
that still, is
Is it
that
a
still
special
official?
or is it a series? Yeah. That's
I don't know. I mean, because they've
yeah.
been.
It's coming. That's coming either the end of the or next. It's from the same people who did What If, the same type of animation and everything.
Speaking of zombies that were completely out of place with the franchise.
Oh, we're switching topics. That's called a segue. Switching over to Strange New Worlds, the Strange New Worlds of it all. We're gonna bold have a conversation about that.
Yeah, so Strange New Worlds, episode 3, can't remember the name now because I had it in my head earlier and now I forget.
It's 3 shuttle to Kenfari.
Yes. So Pike and the Doctor go on a shuttle to get a rare flower,
Hang on.
which is, okay, dumb plot, I'm going to say right off the bat.
Why? That's not. You don't think that's not Star Trekky? Kirk didn't go more than once to save Spock by going to get some ridiculousness. Come on, stop it.
There's only one planet where this flower is on, and that planet happens to be in disputed territory where nobody can go.
It's a very Star Trek premise.
Yeah.
I can remember a Deep Space Nine episode that did it, or something close to it.
All right, well, fine, but I just didn't. Whatever. So then the flower apparently turns people into zombies
Because it's a moss, or I'm telling. This is what the Last of Us part for me.
Yeah.
Because it's very. I'm like, the only reason that everyone's like they're stealing from the Last of Us. Okay, look. First off, possibly. I will say this: it's one of those story elements that goes back to creepypasta. The idea that this little particular type of moss, it's from that ants allegory story, where they make the zombie ants, and they turn them into a real thing, and so that's a real life thing that can happen.
Oh, sure, but here's the thing that I gotta give credit.
Fungus. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Fungus. Yes.
Here's where I gotta give credit where credit is due on this episode.
Okay.
He went all out and said, "Yes, these are zombies." They were not.
And I love that dude looked at him like, "Why would you say that?"
Yeah,
He's like,
it's like they're not sure. There's no life forms on the tricorder, so they're not dead. But
even Pike's like,
yeah, they're not dead. They're not alive. They are.
they're zombies,
Like, you're thinking undead. You know,
totally. It's like, what am I going to do, man?
Yeah. So and it's like, come on, I'm thinking zombies. It's got to be. You know,
Right?
but yeah. So I love that they didn't show up in tricorders as being alive.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Hold on. He just said it. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think she's going to end up mutating fully, and she's going to leave the ship, and she's going to go toward Gorn space and become the new queen of their new look, whatever their new.
I hope you're wrong about that. I think that'll be done.
Bro, I think it'll be amazing. The fact that they will have looped it all back. I'm like, bro.
And she is Gorn Captain fought.
No, but the point is she's the queen who brings them about. Let's go.
No, I think she is the actual Captain Kirk. This is her opponent. Yeah, that was her.
What if she does start to? What if that's how she says goodbye? Goodbye, Christopher. They're like, oh, she starts having like little prismatic eyes and stuff. I'm telling you, I have a feeling that's where they're going with this. I said the same thing to Mrs. Know-It-All. As this was over, I went and I said, "Oh my god!" I stood up and went, "They're gonna turn her."
You might be. I hope you're wrong. I had a moment like that watching that South Park, but
no, yeah, totally. It's like they're gonna do it, man. I'm telling you.
No, well, because did you watch the South Park? I know you didn't like it.
Yes. Okay. No, I saw enough of it. I saw clips of it.
But here's the thing.
And I saw the AI thing, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, but forgetting about the political context episode, because we're not here to argue about that. Yeah, that's a dress. See, that's
a Fred Flintstone tunic and takes off.
What's going to happen is, here's what's going to happen, Stan. That is a dress in her wardrobe, and it kind of gets shredded a little bit, and that's how it becomes the Fred Flintstone. That would
be so great.
I'm telling you, that is her. That is Catherine Patel.
That would be so great.
You know what? The great would be if we're right. That would be so funny.
Oh my god!
Because nobody else is saying that. I guarantee you.
They're gonna Tuvix battalion those baby Gorn.
So
yes. Oh my god! Yes.
So
here's the
thing. I would say, so just like you were saying about her becoming the new Gorn.
Go ahead.
So if again, forgetting about the political context of the episode,
right on.
Did you notice what they did with Trump himself when they animated him?
They made him Canadian?
No, you're close.
His head flap?
Yes, his head did flap.
See, that's Canadian.
No, it's not.
What is it?
That's foreigner. Remember, Saddam Hussein did that too.
Oh, he did, but it was just the up and down.
It's anybody who is from another country that splits open when they talk. I think that what they're going to do on South Park is they're going to make him Russian.
I can totally see that.
Because remember, the original Trump...
them all day. I could see that doing that.
The original Trump was Mr. Garrison. Remember, in the first term, Garrison put on orange makeup and ran for president, and his vice president was Caitlyn Jenner.
Right.
And so that's why they actually bust down Garrison's door, and they're like, "What are you doing?" Because they're upset about
this question. Strange New World, is the Doomsday Machine on its way to our galaxy and the Kelvin also? Answer that question.
Yes. Next question.
Really? Nothing? That's it?
Okay, well, though, I would say this. If they continue the Strange New World storyline up through the original series, so if they have the Jim Carrey Kirk over the ship.
I hate you. Paul Wesley, the Jim
Carrey. I always forget his name. I know it's mean, but I love
not William Shatner Kirk. You know him.
Yeah, I love it. Well, the thing is, you could say not William Shatner Kirk and be meaning Chris Pine. So, But if I say the Jim Carrey Kirk, you know exactly who I'm talking
I do
about.
know exactly. No, for real.
So
That's true.
yeah, so Jim Carrey Kirk, if they continue the Paul Wesley storyline, Pike's retirement, then I do think that they will have to deal with certain galactic threats that come up in the original series, like eating on it. Galactic threats that come up, like the Doomsday Machine or the Kelvins. I do
Kirk
think,
Botnick.
huh?
Phoenix says Kirk Botnick.
Kirk Botnick.
Totally. Or you can call him Vampire Kirk. I missed whatever it is. I missed it, but it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, not sure what he means by Kirk Botnick.
You guys, that's the problem. I'm trying to keep up with the chat because they're having a good time by themselves.
But yeah, I would like to see the Doomsday Machine again, because it would be interesting to see, like, for example, if the constellation is not there, how do you fight it? Right? So you can't
Who are
just.
they going to get to play Admiral? What's his face?
Oh, you mean Commodore Decker?
Yeah, him. I'll do that guy.
Will Wyndham. He was the only person to out chew William Shatner on Star Trek.
I agree.
You know, don't you think I know that? There was, but not anymore.
That's good stuff.
They called me for them, 400 of them. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't.
I want to see anyone hit that level of melodrama in Strange New Worlds before it's all said and done.
Yeah. I would.
Please.
You know, the funny thing is, like, when you look at Will Wyndham's Decker, people like make fun of him and all that, but to me, he is a perfect representation of what would happen to Kirk if the entire crew of the Enterprise was wiped out.
You think?
Kirk loves his crew. And so could you imagine what Kirk's reaction would be if all of them, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, Uhura, Sulu, Chekhov, Ensign Smith, all of them are gone? It would break him. It would absolutely. Not only that, but his ship was a wreck. And there's nothing Kirk loves more than the Enterprise.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So the Enterprise is a wrecked hulk of a ship. The entire crew is dead, and he's the lone survivor on the ship in the auxiliary control room. I think that Kirk would be just as broken down as Decker was.
Kirk loves his ship like a woman.
He does.
Phoenix just said Kirk loves his ship like a woman.
Yeah, well, remember, they actually established, like in Alana of Troyes, that even though her species can emit tears that will make anyone fall hopelessly in love with them, the cure was simply the fact that he shipped more.
Yeah.
And so, and even all the way back to the very beginning in The Naked Time, Kirk talked about how I know why they call it a she, because the Enterprise consumes him. He has to, he and the Enterprise are in this weird relationship. But
relationship. I love that. In his weird relationship.
And yes, Starfleet apparently has warrant officers now. That is something they did establish in this episode.
I know. Yeah. I saw that. I was like, what? Also, what the hell was going on with number one's hair? What was that?
Oh man, we made so much fun of her.
Even Mrs. Know It I was like, that was
okay. It may not be entirely appropriate and PC for me to say this, but we kept laughing at number one and saying how she looked like a drag queen.
Yeah, what is? Yes. You may have heard that. That's what Mrs. Know It All off camera. Okay.
She absolutely. I don't know. Where did her hair and makeup for this episode needs to be shot? Because Rebecca Romaine is a much more beautiful woman than what we saw in that episode. Either that or what we saw was her stunt double with a lot of makeup.
That's hilarious. Oh my God! Yeah, Aravic said the same thing. Her makeup was overkill too.
Yeah, yeah. Her makeup was it was absolutely horrific. It was caked on where normally it's not. Like you could just
literally. Just a prior, she looks like she normally does.
Yeah. I hope that that's not what she's going to look like for the rest of the season, because she looked awful. and like I said, I kept laughing at her. It was like every time she said a line, I'd echo the line. Like she'd be like, don't you ever do that again? I'd be like, don't you ever do that again, because she's a drag queen.
What do you think? What do you think of Ortega, dude? The minute they were like, oh, what did she do? Why did she do it?
Because she knew her plan was the right plan in her mind. And I think they're setting up Ortegas for an exit this season.
Same.
And
Well, that is Sulu eventually.
yeah, which is too bad because I like Ortegas. But yeah. Uh,
Other reactions were, oh, now Ortega's that character's the most out of military bearing character on the bridge.
oh yeah, she. But but the thing is, like,
Here's
notice.
the thing. All I'm saying is this: when a guy drives the ship, it hardly ever wrecks like that.
Yeah, that's funny because since she crashed into that rock, I think is Sulu like the only pilot who hasn't actually crashed the Enterprise.
Oh, totally.
And or the only male pilots. It's horrible.
It's
But
terrible. It's horrible.
now that Ortegas has officially crashed, but yeah, I think that they're going to set it up so that either she needs to be drummed out because she's becoming too insubordinate and everything, or the Gorn thing is just going to make her snap.
I think that's what Mrs. Noel said. She thinks it's going to be the case.
Yeah. So too, but they're definitely there. I definitely think they're working up towards an exit.
Oh my God, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it right now. Batal's gonna start more mutating into a Gorn. It's gonna be too much for Ortegas to handle. Ortegas is either gonna threaten her, almost kill her. Something's gonna happen, and then Ortegas at the very end, after having gotten in trouble for this, and she's basically gonna be court-martialed for she's gonna somehow help Batal get on the shuttle away as her type of redemption arc. And that's when Pike's like, look, I get it. I don't want you on my ship anymore.
Or she kills Patel.
It's possible too, but you got to how do you get the old TOS style Gorn then if you do that? She has little babies.
Well, they did see multiple Gorn babies when he mind melded with her. So it's entirely possible that like could do is like they'll do the standard thing in Star Trek where they load her into a torpedo and fire her off into space.
The Trek reviewer asked, "Do we need to see Lee Kelso before Sulu?"
We should, or well, not necessarily. Lee Kelso and Sulu. Sulu was in that episode because Sulu was just the ship's mathematician at the time.
But also, Kelso can be, dude. They rotate. Kelso could have just been the duty officer at that moment.
Yeah, but remember, Kelso is in the second pilot.
That's true. No, that's true.
And so, but it doesn't mean we don't know that Kelso became a member of the crew before Sulu. We just know that they were both on the crew at the same time.
I also agreed with this too. I thought they already established how the Gorn could change by TOS. Their biology is heavily influenced by cosmic forces. I do agree with that. That's what I thought. But now that they've moved into this, they're going to have to merge her DNA to save blah blah. I feel like they're setting up. It just feels convenient.
I did think that they're going to make her into some kind of lizard lady.
That's going to end up being the humanoid Gorn we're used to seeing somehow.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the flower that gives them that reflective eye thing. I don't know, man. Just making stuff up, but it sounds plausible based on the ridiculousness sometimes these people come up with.
Now, yeah, I would like to see, because one thing that I do find this a little grating on Strange New World, even though I love the show, I don't like that the navigator chick's name is Mitchell. Because I keep thinking of Gil. And, so we have two Mitchells that are both navigators back to back.
I mean, or they're just gender bending Mitchell, which would be in line with this being an alternate universe.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they establish it's an alternate universe, which, like I said, they kind of sort of did with Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, but they haven't actually explicitly said it.
Phoenix Gundam says, "Tuvix it, son." That's what I'm talking about. That's what needs to happen. Totally, it's like get that. Get that gory little fool. Get that little gorny freak out of her. Darren, oh my God, you two. Wait, hold on. What's going on here? Somebody needs to disagree. Darren, you need to call him a name or something. I can't deal with this. Him agreeing with you. I don't like female Mitchell's name either. I also do not like Scotty. He lacks that working class charm of James Doohan. First off, okay, about the Mitchell thing, haha, joke I just said. But about Scotty, remember, he's not that guy yet. He's still a kid learning the ropes of how to be, not how to be a genius. He's already that.
Now, before Darren answers, because I'm sure he's going to say something to this effect,
go for it.
Is that Scotty goes from being the youngest member of the crew to the oldest member of the crew.
You already said that last week. I get you.
So there is a problem there with the timeline, but it's not the first time because like Chekhov is too young in the Kelvin timeline, right? So
right,
there's what and you even said, Darren, that he hasn't said lieutenant this season, so you need to let that rest. All right. I understand that it was annoying when he said it before because lieutenant and lieutenant are not the same words.
No,
but the
do we have lieutenants in U.S. military?
No, that's I don't. At least
thing, right? Or a European thing?
Yeah, I don't. I assume they still do in the UK, but I don't know.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so too. But I think some people have begun to use it synonymously with lieutenant over there.
Right.
And I think
they're a similar position.
Okay.
But they are two different words, right? It's not like aluminum and aluminium. Lieutenant and lieutenant are different words.
Right.
So like if you were a UK naval lieutenant and you were talking to a US naval lieutenant, the lieutenant would call the lieutenant, and the lieutenant would call the lieutenant. It's just like, for example,
I just know that I really liked the movie Tenet.
Right, but in fact, here's an easier way for people to understand it. A general and an admiral are the same rank.
Yes, that I knew.
Right,
there's two different services.
Not going to call an admiral a general.
Right.
And an admiral's not going to call a general an admiral, right? Even though they have 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, it's the exact same rank. It's the exact same symbol on their collars or shoulders or whatever type of uniform they're wearing. Just like, and it's the same thing with all the Navy has weird ranks because
Phoenix Gundam says didn't like the line younger Scotty didn't drink. He was born with a high ABT count in his system. God dang know it.
Yeah, getting back to young Scotty. So here's my wife's only problem. She loves him, but
I do too. I think he's great.
But here's the funny thing. She's like, but it's not Scotty. She says he's too adorable. So she's funny. Yeah, it's like Scotty is not adorable. He's a gruff Scotsman.
Yeah, no, totally. He's supposed to be, but I don't know. I guess he's just.
But this Scotty is just, he's just
he's like 14, or are we just assuming he's younger because he's younger, because he looks younger?
I don't know how he's supposed to be in canon, but he looks like he's, he's a lieutenant, but he looks like he should be an ensign.
Erevic asked a really good question. Erevic says, "Hey, did you get moved into your new cooler studio, Salty Trekker?"
I am in the room. It's not cooler yet because the air conditioner is not set up.
And of course, real quick, this next line: your wife is half right. He's not Scotty.
No, Darren. My wife is always right.
There you go. Good job.
But yes, the
oh my God, Darren, guys! Next season we're getting old guy Chekhov.
That would be hilarious if Chekhov comes out. It's like
he's supposed to literally be the youngest officer ever.
I'm Ensign Chekhov. Pavel, how you doing? Tips were invented in Russia.
That's right. They were. Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah, anybody got some Werther's originals?
I hate you so much for that. That's great.
So yeah, that would be hilarious. The old man Chekhov, but no, the young guy Scotty. I don't hate him. And it is kind of funny because this is my understanding is this is the first time we've had an actual Scotsman playing Scotty.
Yes, a real deal Scotsman.
But the and I think the funny thing about Strange New Worlds. none of the actors on Strange New Worlds are doing imitations of their legacy characters that they're based on.
I agree.
And that doesn't bother me because it's just like, you know what? Sean Connery James Bond and Roger Moore James Bond are two completely different animals.
Yeah.
But they're both James Bond.
I feel like, tell me if this is where you're going with this. I'm okay if you're fine. I feel like each of them is doing what their interpretation of this character based on the material and historically how the character has been portrayed, who the character is. That's what I feel like. Now, for a lot of people who are like, but that's not who I saw. Hey, I can't help what you saw and how you interpreted characters. What I can say is I myself am seeing the characters very much in these people. Very much.
Right. And now there's some characters that you have more room to play with than Dr. Mbanga.
Agreed.
Because the only thing we know about Dr. Mbanga in the original series is that he's the only guy on the ship with past experience working with Vulcans. But other than that, you know, he's a black guy, you know, and his name is Mbanga, so he's probably from Africa. You know, that's like all we really know, right?
Well, like Chekhov, he's probably from Russia. You know, Sulu, he's probably from some Asian, you know, whatever. It's like the idea that I love that was, which was literally how you did it back then.
Yeah.
You know, back then, you wanted to show somebody of a nationality, you gave them the like, oh, you want to show the Mexican guy? His last name is Sanchez, you know, or something. It's like, I get it.
And by the way, Mbanga, you know, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but the guy playing Mbanga is Nigerian.
Yeah.
And that is an authentic accent you're hearing from him. And he's fluent in like 4 or 5 languages. English, French, the native language.
I was so tickled to see him in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, probably.
I haven't seen that.
So he's in that. He plays an American spy placed in a who's or not an American spy. He's a spy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can act and do other stuff. Good for you. He did such a good job.
Like, I'll say this much: like Nurse Chapel, I think is the one character that I don't think really feels like the original Legacy character.
Yes,
but the original Nurse Chapel was such a doormat of a character that.
Well, not just that, but she was very two-dimensional. They never gave her a whole lot of nuance. Like
she's either in love with Corby or she's in love with Spock.
That's the most advanced thing we ever see. Right, is her being upset about Corby, but then also when the nuance of like she knows Spock's favorite dish, she does, you know, she cares, like that nuance is the only thing that ever really defined her much. Otherwise, the only other advancement we ever see in her character is literally in the movie. You find out she's a doctor.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's it. And then you're like, oh, cool. Chapel's a doctor now. It's crazy. You know?
Yeah.
I never thought she'd ever make it. You know, it's like, whatever. It's like, damn, really?
But yeah, so the Nurse Chapel, I don't, even though, I
didn't know that. When TNG was in development, Yar's last name was Hernandez.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's awesome. I love it.
I would absolutely, like, when season 1 of Strange New Worlds, I've said I thought it was the best first season of any Star Trek show, but I did not like Nurse Chapel's character.
Really?
I said that back then, and I would stick with it. Now, that being said, I think she's improved over season 2 and now into season 3. I like her better now than I liked her in season 1.
My problem is I have issues with how vapid they portray her, and then they want us to expect to see her as a professional who understands her work. But when she's not doing this, she's about as whatever. And like, I don't know. I feel like that level of moral ambiguity would not translate well in terms of the professional life.
Oh, and Phoenix, you're 100% right. T'Pring is smoking hot in Strange New
Worlds.
Right? Yeah. And I hope we get to see her again. I don't know. Is she in the trailers for anything in season 3? I haven't seen.
Yeah, I think she's a couple things.
Okay.
No, who, T'Pring?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen her.
Because I want to see
I do agree with Darius. I love the Klingon battle cruiser as well. I thought it looks super sexy. Like seriously, when it came out of the thing, I was like, "Oh, you got." Remember, in the Star Trek fan club, my persona was a Klingon, so I'm a big Klingon fan. I really am. And so seeing that, I was like, they looked awesome. And then when they showed up with the gold vests, I had to explain to my wife and show her the original series Klingon.
That they were gold vests. Yeah,
this is essentially an interpretation of this version of this outfit and style.
Right, and now the I like their take on the D7. I also like the fact that they made the Klingon shuttle look reminiscent of the crap from Discovery, but they made it look coolish of the crap from Discovery. It looked
Right.
like an orthocopter from Dune.
Yeah, I was gonna say that from Dune.
Yeah.
I said to my wife, I was like, when did they become the Dune people? Like, on, man.
But I like the fact that their shuttles look nothing like Federation shuttles.
Right.
But it also is reminiscent of other tech that was dominating the Empire a few years earlier.
I think Josiah's calling you Fat Albert, by the way.
Why is that?
No, he's not. I think he's calling me Fat Albert. But
he's asking earlier about Fat Albert versus
the thing.
That's something that we do.
I thought he was talking about us, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I'll wear it.
No. He's asking me who wins, and because here's the thing, you may not have heard, you may not have heard me talk about Fat Albert in some of these fights. People underestimate Fat Albert.
I believe you.
Because remember, yes, Fat Albert is incredibly fat, and meaning that he would be.
Real quick, Stan, I think it is supposed to be the same ship, but not. It's the same reason why why almost every ship in the future still has two nacelles and a saucer. It's just the design style, except
TOS, TNG.
Yeah, except they don't really put a lot of effort into. What they did in TOS is introduce more Klingon stuff. The movies gave us the Bird of Prey, and then they later on in TNG they came up with the TNG era. They came up with that one with the fork nose. I don't recall what the class is.
That's the Vorcha.
There you go. They came up with that one. I loved. I had the full on.
I don't like. I think the D7 is a way better design than the Vorcha.
I agree, but I enjoyed the Vorcha a lot. It looked super cool, especially because I had that toy.
So back to Fat Albert versus the Thing. So.
Or I mistakenly assumed we're talking about you and I fighting.
Right. So Fat Albert is big and fat, but essentially human, right? So like Fat Albert would be vulnerable to most things that any human would be. The Thing's punch to Fat Albert, assuming he wasn't hitting him right in the gut, would probably hurt him pretty significantly. Now, that's not, and this is where people underestimate Fat Albert. Fat Albert is demonstrably humanly strong.
Away from the wires. Sorry, my dog was getting tangled up in the wires at my feet, and I was trying to get him out.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Why?
Why what?
Why is Fat Albert superhumanly strong?
Because he's got a super base. No.
What?
Because I don't know. Because Kingpin is super strong, and Kingpin's a big guy. I don't know.
No. It's not just because he's fat.
Okay, then what? What is it?
Okay, because think about what we've seen him do.
Oh my God, literally, did you just so I could hear you talk more?
Huh? Have you never watched Fat Albert?
Yeah, of course, dude. Hello.
I know you look like him, but
I watched the Cosby Kids.
Okay. Well, I'm just making sure.
Problematic Bill Cosby, but back then he had the little marker.
The very special episode of Fat Albert.
Picture pages. My wife just reminded me. Anyways, yeah.
Albert, why to be that drink? So, anyway,
it sounds horrible when you do it. Let's not do that again.
I can't do that voice. Anyway,
hey. That's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. But anyway, so here's the thing about Fat Albert that you're not understanding as far as his raw superhuman powers. You ready for this?
Go for it. Tell me why Fat Albert is superhuman. Let's go.
He uses a radiator like an accordion.
Oh. I never thought of that.
He is.
I'm from up north. Everybody who knows anything about the radiator, that's
like a big piece of cast iron.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
And so that is some serious strength. So Fat Albert's punch may be on par with the Thing's, but Fat Albert lacks the durability of the Thing.
Just so you know, real quick, only because we're talking about this topic, you freeze up every now and again.
Yeah.
It just said so Fat Albert. It's like is blacks and I was like blacks what? What about blacks?
Yeah.
It's pausing right at the wrong moment for you while you're having this conversation. It's brilliant, actually. I'm enjoying it.
Ding ding! It's time to kill the Thing. You know.
That's exactly right. Oh my god!
Yeah.
How about How about that real quick because we're jumping all over the place.
Yes.
They kept trying to get the thing to say his catchphrase that isn't even his catchphrase.
But you know what? I did like that he finally embraced it
Yeah, me too.
when Johnny chucked him at Galactus, which was a good moment. Notice that was a little different than in the trailers.
Oh, very much. Oh, there's a lot of
Because-
stuff that's different.
Yeah, because Johnny was not completely on fire in the trailer.
Right.
But oh man, okay. Here's a deep cut for you. Thing ring, do your thing. See if you remember that. It was thing ring, do your thing.
Did they explain the beard?
Yes, the thing just grows beards like anybody else.
So
And in
what
fact,
about the hair on his head?
he's bald.
He wasn't bald in real life when they showed the character in his
He went bald when the radiation got. But
Really?
radiation, common symptom, baldness. Are you saying I'm wrong?
I'm saying it's awfully convenient, but okay, fine.
Yeah, but and yes. So
So
he
reimagining of the thing with the thing ring.
yeah, but the thing shaved regularly with a grinder, but because they had to conserve power, he couldn't shave, and he started growing the beard out. But then everybody liked it.
I hate you so much.
What?
Fine.
Huh?
Read it. Johnny didn't go bald, Stanley says.
Yeah. Well, not everybody goes bald just because they're exposed to radiation.
Radiation causes all your hair to fall out, not just the hair on your head.
Yeah. Well, maybe he got more radiation on his head. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but you know.
I got you. That's funny.
Yeah. So
All
for
right,
whatever reason, or maybe Ben Grimm,
of course, no pun intended.
maybe Grimm had male pattern baldness, but it just hadn't materialized.
Because I am dedicated to bringing us back to Star Trek for 2 seconds.
Yes.
Tell me there was nothing more Star Trek than in the least appropriate moment, they have time for a duel.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm like, and even Pike at one point is like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? Why he's literally on the other side of an energy field, and the Klingon chick, Bia, whatever, decides now's the time to have a duel with Mbenga over the death of her father, who we find out is Doc Ra.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It was stupid.
Why do they have no? But I'm saying that's so Star Trek, where you're like, oh, really? In the middle of this episode, we're gonna have Kirk and Spock have a giant duel. Oh, in this episode, we're gonna have Mbenga and a Klingon.
You know what?
Honor!
Let's talk about the more intelligent writing of the original series, where Kirk and Kang stopped their duel because they realized the pointlessness of it.
Yeah, but the problem is that she apparently had to go out one way or another.
I did like the way she went out. I gotta say, I thought that was a good Klingon death.
I don't know that I'm ready for zombies to be here, though. I really don't. I really don't think so.
What's there be Federation zombies?
Oh my God! He said, Darren said, "I really did head stomp in the episode. More of that."
That was pretty wicked. I gotta say, that was. I mean, that was probably the goriest episode.
Oh, totally.
You know,
it absolutely was.
You know, the zombies were pretty graphic, but yeah, overall, I liked the episode. I liked the follow up on Mbenga, even though it makes me wrong about some of what I said about Mbenga. I'm okay with that because I like the way they followed up on it.
I like the fact that when he asked Pike, like, this mission technically is what's supposed to happen. There's nothing to report.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you know, the thing is that I would say this: when we talked about Mbenga in the past, when the first episode with the general happened. One of the things I argued is that I didn't think Mbenga murdered the general, because I think that he did kill him in self-defense, but because if you listen carefully to how Mbenga phrased it,
yeah,
you know, the general opened up the opportunity for him to kill him, and he took advantage of it. He could have not killed him. So, was that murder? Was it self-defense? It would be one of those legal gray areas. It'd be like, you know, if you're in a fight and you knock the guy down and then you grab a knife and stab him. You know, okay, Was that murder or was that self-defense? Because legally, it could be considered self-defense. Reasonably, you felt you were in danger.
I agree.
But which I think that considering that the Klingon was a Dahar master or whatever, you know, it made sense. But Kang, by the way, was not a Dahar master. Just to correct you.
I'm sorry. I have to go back to our good friend Phoenix Gunn. And next week, Tuvix Batel.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Phoenix Gunn, bro, you're holding it down so hardcore for that. Here's the thing. I'm here for it.
Well, you know, we are getting eventually. We're going to get the episode with all the people turning into Vulcans. So there's going to be your
Oh my
two.
god! I think it's episode 7. I heard.
Yeah. And I gotta say, so what's your thoughts so far? First 3 episodes now, Strange New Worlds. What's your thoughts on season 3?
I like it. It's just it feels like a season of Strange New Worlds to me.
Yeah.
And by that I mean the show has its own tone. It developed it very quickly, and I feel like episode 2 or rather did a really good job cementing that. Took a lot of experimentation toward the end, but either way they've kind of cemented that this is what they're doing, and I feel like this season just builds right back into it. I think Pike's playing a more stable role than I've seen him play in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that worked. He's definitely a stabilizing presence. And
yes, Eric Koloth is the Dahar master.
I just want to know why everybody has a problem with this whole like. The biggest complaint hearing from people online is they're stealing from the original show and blah blah blah. And I went, no, they're writing in the same universe.
Well,
and
I think it's kind of like when you look at the Fantastic Four, any of the MCU movies, really.
Sure.
It's a new interpretation of classic material. And anytime you do that, because the problem is that Star Trek is such an institution that's been around for such a long time that people think, well, if you're going to set it in the 23rd century, it should look exactly like the original series, right? that And yes, that is the one. But you know what, Darren? We don't know all the explanation yet, so let's not
mind you,
conclusions.
but here's the other thing is though, I'm fully prepared for that to be the case, and I will go right with it.
And by the way, you know, Star Trek is also the show that cures being a lizard off spray. So, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
So you know, hairstyle change, not that big a deal. But I think that people forget that a new interpretation of the same material doesn't mean it's going to be exactly the same.
Agreed. No, I agree.
And you know, like when I talked to Ethan Peck, that's, you know, we talked about it a little bit. And
you know, you and Ethan, go back.
Yeah, me and Ethan, we're good. We're like, yeah, man. And you know, that Anthony said I have better hair than him, so there's that. You know, that was like, you know, the best compliment of my entire life. But
I know it. By the way, literally second week in a row, you brought it up.
Yes, and I will probably bring it up every week that Strange New Worlds is on.
I understand.
But yes, but both Anson and Ethan kind of both reflected this, is that they are looking at this as, what can I do with this character? What is this character all about? Not how can I imitate Jeffrey Hunter or Leonard Nimoy? You know, and because I don't want to see an imitation of Jeffrey Hunter or Leonard Nimoy. Because I can see stand-up comedians do imitations.
Darren says, I can enjoy Strange New World as an alternate timeline Star Trek, by the way, so can we all. But I can't wait for Sundance to take over the franchise.
It's going to be interesting to see if
It's Skydance, Sundance. Sundance is a movie festival.
When Skydance takes over.
Which is happening, because it just happened today.
Yeah, so it's finalized.
Merger's done.
That's why, according to South Park, Trump sued them for $20 billion. Yeah,
well, I love the fact that like that was their big response. Everyone's like, Colbert got canceled because of politics, and they're like, wait, you guys think that that they got repercussions because of politics? Let me really show you. Hold my beer. Let me show you something. I was like,
I ain't even stressing over everything, because most of those late night talk shows they're all just clones of each other.
Agreed. No, I agree. Sundance, Skydance, Skyfall, whatever. Yeah. I'm with you, Darren. I'm with you. Yeah. Even Mrs. Know-It-All got a crack out of that. Flipped out of that one. Good job, brother.
Yeah. When Skydome takes over, and they do it's going to be interesting to see, are they going to actively try to change imagine Star Trek again? Now, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because I think that this generation of Trek shows was something of a misfire, mainly because of Discovery.
But we got to Strange New Worlds because of it.
Yes, I know. Strange New Worlds is a good show.
Also, the other thing you have to remember, Discovery wasn't hated by everyone. There's a lot of that. There's the thing about this. There's an entire audience that has. By the way, I'm not even talking about like bad ones introduced to Star Trek and are probably getting into the original, getting into next gen, and getting.
I get
into
that. I get. Well, it's just like when I talk
because of the gateway drug that was Discovery.
It's like, hey, when I'm doing my Uber thing and I have a 40-year-old in my car, and because I have the Federation logo in all my windows, right? So everybody knows I'm a nerd when they get in the car,
Right.
and so they're, oh, you like Star Trek, yeah, and so I say, who's your favorite captain? If it's a 40-year-old, it's Picard, right? Every time. If it's someone over 50, Kirk, right? And
Yeah.
if it's like a 35-year-old, you might hear something like Janeway. And then, anybody, but the younger people, the
Just
few.
so you're aware, Miss Noel, just off camera, she said Pike was that was her first captain.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
I kind of love that though, because I'm like, if there's a torchbearer right now for Star Trek,
Pike is definitely That's the thing. Strange New World is trying to be classic Star Trek, but it's a on it. Now,
I feel like Discovery showed its hand when it took them to 300 years in the future. Beyond, I feel like it basically said, yeah, we didn't really want it. We had to start there, but we didn't want to start there. We just figured we had to show you guys something to sell you on, and now we can bring you over here, and it goes all the way up there.
So Darren likes the war criminal.
I love Cisco. Shut up. But no, my thing about this
he's a lovable war criminal, but
Darren said idiots love Star Trek Discovery. Look,
idiots love every Star Trek show.
I did not particularly. You're absolutely right. I did not particularly enjoy Discovery out the gate. In fact, I was very much not on board until about season 4. Season 4, I had a revelation that made me realize this, and it's funny because I don't know why it took me 4 seasons to realize it. The thing I was most uncomfortable with was this was not an ensemble show. This was not a show where I knew any of the bridge crew hardcore and really cared about them as much as I cared about all these other characters. This was a show about Michael Burnham. Right. And once I understood that, I was able to take a step back and go, okay, this is about Michael. This is not about everybody else. Now that I know that, let me watch Moving Forward. And I watched Moving Forward, and in that light, I actually enjoyed season 4, and even though season 5 I thought was lackluster compared to other seasons of its type, and then I went back and watched them. Season 1 and 2 are still a mess. Season 3 is when it really got decent, and 4 is what I liked still, and it was what it was. I don't know if that means being an idiot as much. You understand something? We had nothing. No Star Trek. Yes, there were old things you could rewatch, but we had nothing new. Discovery showed up, gave an entire generation something to look at that reminded them of the movie they had just got finished seeing in theaters and enjoying. In that same tone. And it took it much more seriously and much more quote unquote mature, a little too earnest in a whole lot of places. But overall, I get what they did, and frankly, I give them their dues. They breathed life into a franchise that didn't have it. Because I'm sorry, all those conventions had died out. That fandom was dying out, and
only because we're old.
That's because we're old. I love you. But that's what they did, and now we've got it's breathed whole new life into it.
I get that, but I don't. At the same time, I think that Discovery was antithetical to Star Trek.
I mean,
I still
I'm not going to fight.
It's pessimistic. It's bleak. It's dark.
But it's not. It's not. It's not pessimistic. At what point is now the universe? But at what point is Burnham pessimistic? She's the one who's friggin' carrying the torch for her.
Burnham is not pessimistic, but the world.
That's all you needed.
No, it's not. Because Star Trek, every single other Star Trek show.
So you're going to tell me Enterprise was the cheeriest of cheery, was the most positive, most forward-thinking, with the Vulcans telling us off at every corner, with failed missions after failed missions, with it wasn't until they finally were like,
Enterprise. Hold on. You bring up Enterprise. Let me offer you a counterpoint to that.
all right.
I agree that Enterprise was, I will just say, for lack of a better term, darker than most of the rest of Star Trek in those.
And we're not just talking about the lights.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying darker meaning the lights are out. Darker as far as tone, story.
Whenever we talk about Picard, everybody says the lights. They clearly forgot how to light a ship.
But the thing about Enterprise and the thing about Discovery is the time frame. Is that Enterprise is about humans becoming that utopian paradise that they will one day be. It's not about them being there like they are in the original series. But then in Discovery, they take, it's a few years before Kirk, but everything is a hot mess. And by the way, the Klingons invade and practically wipe out the Federation. And it's like, wait, what? And so, and not to mention the fact that the Klingons are now orcs. But that's
the Klingons are now what?
Orcs.
Can I tell you what I really enjoyed about this week's Klingons, by the way, just since we're talking about something?
Did they look like Klingons?
We actually had 2 black Klingons and 1 white Klingon.
Oh, so you like that the black Klingons outnumbered the white Klingons?
No, I like the fact that they existed. Because so often it's either been the white guys in face makeup, which is back in the original series, and in TNG, they primarily stuck with mostly black actors, and occasionally they had the white actors from before.
Because they like black actors have that deep resonating voice.
But also because essentially Klingons were seen visually as being black people.
Right.
Like that's why they had
Martok and Gowron were played by white guys.
And the old one, if you look at the original series, they were all in blackface or a form of blackface.
They were in Klingon face. Clean face.
You gonna keep going? You gonna keep trying to make this make sense?
Actually, the way that my wife described it is that they tried to make them look like greasy Mexicans.
God, I love this wife.
Brigitte for the win.
Yes,
let's go. Brigitte rather for the win.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were going for with the makeup. And honestly, if you look at their makeup carefully, like especially in the remastered, and you actually pay attention to it, it looks like they're trying to look like unearthly tones because they kind of have gray.
Yes.
And so
Spock's makeup, it was green. It was like a green hue to his stuff because they were trying to show that he has
very well.
Well, they were trying to show like we or you rather, Caucasoid, are pinkish because you have red blood going through your thin skin capillary stuff, and Vulcan's supposed to have green skins. Hence, they should have a yellowish.
Which is why Andorians call us pink skins.
No, right?
Because obviously showing that he never saw Mayweather.
Totally.
Yeah, I would love, I think if they ever do a sequel show to Enterprise, which I still want them to do, I want them to have a Captain Mayweather.
No offense, I thought that's what this was. If you notice, Discovery started with them wearing blue outfits, which immediately I was like, did we need a sequel to the Enterprise show? Like,
no, we do. I mean, with the Enterprise cast. So a show that takes place.
We never got Phase 2. Well, I think you're going to get a sequel to Enterprise. They didn't even get a movie
because because most of the cast is still alive. And
most is the word, but yes,
yeah,
they don't all look the same though.
No, but you know what? That's the thing is, Enterprise. So Enterprise takes place 100 years before TOS. So you have this new show take place 70 years before TOS. So age is appropriate.
Nice,
and so. And by the way, the guy I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who played Mayweather. He looks good now. He would make an awesome looking captain. But I would
when he does this at the conventions. He does that one show late at night.
And what's the name of the dude that plays Shran? I always forget.
Oh my God! I see it in my head. Combs, Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs. Okay. So here's what I envision in my sequel series, just as a bit at point, right?
Yeah.
Is you have Captain Mayweather of the Enterprise. You're right there?
Yeah, so my wife was just leaving, so she wanted to let me know she was leaving.
She's leaving you?
No, the room. The
it's kind of like Wow, doing it during a live stream, that's cold. That's but yeah, the
Text message breakup.
so Captain Mayweather of the Enterprise is being approached by a Andorian vessel, right? And then the Andorian screen pops up, and it's Shran. It's like Admiral Shran or whatever, right?
Oh, okay, that's kind of
Right.
cool, actually. That would kinda-
And so it's like, oh, hello, pink, brown skin.
That's awesome.
I would just love to see something like that. But anyway, yeah, because most of those people would do it. I think not like they're swimming in projects.
No, they're swimming in conventions. Okay, that's what they do.
Exactly, and you know what? The convention circuit, you ain't making the kind of bank you would make on a series,
It's very true. No, you're
and
absolutely correct.
your convention value goes up if you're in a new series.
That's true.
Yes. So I think I think, and especially like if they do a streaming set, 10 episodes a year. I mean, come on, that's a vacation. So I think absolutely you should do a sequel series to Enterprise with the Enterprise cast. And I know also that what's his name, Bakula would be difficult to get, but then don't you can just say, okay, well, Admiral Archer is busy at his office, and maybe try to get him for a guest star role every now and then.
I can see that.
You
I can totally see that, actually. That'd be great.
know, and you make it about the temporal war and what the heck is going on.
Stop it. You're done. You're done. Not everything is about the triple timeline, man.
Everything is about the triple.
Not every 50 Shades of Pink. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Tell me something in Trek that's not about the triple timeline.
I'm done. I'm done with you, man. What if they're we gotta see? Because that's the other thing is I'm worried.